Hello there, this is DBT and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue talking about Asphalt Legends. And today, I'm gonna have a look at the Q&A session that happened some days ago. And if you don't know what the Q&A session was, it's basically where the developers get to answer some of the more burning questions that the community have, or things that they can simply answer because it's something that it's sort of planned or they have an idea on. So I'm gonna read the entire thing. It's a lot of information, so yeah, be prepared for that. But before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Doing these things help the channel to continue to grow, it keeps me going, and that allows me to continue making this content for you. So go ahead, like and subscribe for some more Asphalt Legends right here. Now, as I just mentioned, it's gonna be a ton of information, so yeah, you better grab some popcorn, get comfy because the yapping session begins. And I'm gonna be reading the questions, the answer, and then I'm also gonna give you my thoughts. Now, keep in mind that my thoughts are mine only. This is not like I'm relaying any extra information that they haven't said. No. I'm just gonna tell you what I think about what they said over there. But yeah, the official answer is the official answer. But alright, let's begin this. And well, I just put this over here so that you can see exactly what we're talking about. And the first question is, any plans to rebalance old cars so they are closer to their in-game rating? We have to be careful with balancing our efforts, pun intended, as the same team that balances our new and upcoming cars will be in charge of revising the balance of older cars. We do want to continue the efforts we began this year without compromising our ability to work on new and future projects. So yes, our efforts will continue, prioritizing the biggest outliers, but don't expect sweeping changes to happen. So this sort of makes sense. In the sense as it's explained over here, that it's the same people who are working on adding the new cars and balancing the new cars. It's the same people that would be working in the old ones. So either they focus on the new or they focus on the old. And while it might sound like, well, they released the new cars already, so start working on the old ones. Well, yeah, but they start to work on the newer cars that are going to be coming in the update after that. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a lot of things that they have to be working on, so it makes sense. Though, to be completely honest, I wish that they were to rebalance more of the old cars, but hey, here's hoping. Then we got, any plans to bring any improvements to clubs? It feels pretty bare bones without the clash, and grinding club rep without it is really hard. Answer. We do want to bring back the feeling of community and share the efforts that come with being part of a club. However, the clash was a very expensive event to run, as it involves a lot of moving parts and setup, and we had a very small part of our players participating. So we do not feel a new event is the answer, but we are looking into new ways to add club participation in our events, and in particular looking to offer new sources of club rep to help you achieve your goals. So basically, yeah, it's not like they're gonna be bringing clash. It's actually interesting to hear them say that not a lot of people were participating on the clash, which kind of makes sense. Like I said it personally, in my own personal way of looking at things, I never felt like clash was super worth my time. So yeah, I understand. And yeah, they basically said we're gonna be looking for new ways of making the club more interesting, but at the moment, nothing planned. Then we got, the special hunts plus Evo events require a lot of credits to complete each season. Are we planning to increase the credit rewards to allow players to complete these events as they require maxing cars? The answer is, we will be doing a deep dive into the current game economy, as we have been keeping an eye on your feedback, and with all the new changes made this year, easier unlock for new cars, the spotlights, new events, etc., there's a real need for credits to continue upgrading new cars. But we don't want to just focus on credit. So we need to review the entire ecosystem to make sure we're not creating any resource bottlenecks, and making sure that the experience is smoother for everyone. So basically the short answer, my interpretation of the answer is, we will look into it. We're kind of thinking about it, but there's no promises over here. And honestly, that sort of makes sense. And it sounds like a very simple thing, right? Because it's like, obviously they require more credits over here, so just give more credits. But at the same time, credits, while obviously the mention of the special hunts and all of that and Evo, it's like, oh yeah, it's about maxing this particular card. The reality is that if you need 42 million credits to max out this Class S car, you might as well spend half of that in upgrading your Class C and Class B and whatnot. So you might start creating, if they just start increasing the credits to match the higher class car requirements for this type of things, then that might imbalance how the lower side of the game plays. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but basically, just by focusing on making the experience a little bit better for the high tier, might actually make it a bit too easy on the lower tier. And while that may sound like a good thing, if things are way too easy, they become trivial and they become boring. It's a weird psychological thing, but yeah. Then we got, Will the credit limit for ad multipliers be removed? No good multipliers if finishing first. Oh, thank God they addressed this. This is also being looked into, as we do see the impact as we do see it impact actual player behavior, where someone will intentionally tank an MP race to try to get a high ad multiplier. This goes against the spirit of competition in Asphalt, so it's currently under consideration. It's funny because I did make a video talking about this precisely. I put a link in the top right about now if I remember to, where I was explaining why sometimes if you see me in multiplayer and I happen to be on first place with a decent lead and then suddenly you see me going like super slow and everything, it was precisely for that, to try to guarantee better credit multipliers, because it's really silly that, hey, in order to do better with my credits, I need to do worse in the race. It's such a backwards thing. I'm glad they're looking into it. I really hope that they fix it, because man, it's super annoying that we have this situation where you need to lose a race in order to get better credits. But anyway, glad that that's being looked into. Then we got, wait, where am I? Multipliers, yeah, okay. What happened to our planned quest system? It's grown. As we started looking into revamping the daily quest system, our original ideas grew further. It's a key part to help introduce new players into the game. So we're continuing to work on the concept to make sure it not only rewards your daily routine, but also turns into a great jumping board for newcomers. We will continue working on it and include it in our 2026 roadmap. All right, nothing I can say about that because it's stuff that only they know about. So yeah, let's move on. Any plans to remove fuel system from the game? Answer. This, alongside event tickets, will be looked into as we review the rest of the game economy. It's not an easy decision to make. It's very ingrained into the game and it touches aspects like our past benefits, so we'll have to be careful. So basically, and once again, this is only personal opinion. I'm not saying that this is what they're saying. This is just what I think. I don't think they're going to be removing that. The fuel system, it's a big incentive for people to get the Legend Pass, myself included. And don't get me wrong, I would love for it to not be there so that I wouldn't need to buy the Legend Pass in order to have unlimited fuel and do as many races. But there's something else to consider when it comes to fuel. And this is not me defending the system, because overall the fuel system is something that I don't like in games. But it does make sense when you consider that it limits how many times certain cars can be played with. For example, Vandas. I mean, maybe it's a bad example because you see Vandas all day long, every day. But the point is that people spam Vanda because it's a fantastic car. But if you're not a Legend Pass owner, you can only race with that car 3 times before you need to start watching ads or spending tokens in order to continue. So in one way or another, it limits how many times people are going to be using that car. Now, granted, you can argue, but owners of the Legend Pass get to use it 2-3 times as many. Yeah, it is true. So that's why that's an incentive to buy that thing. But the whole point is that even with that, there's still a bit of like, hey, maybe, you know, you're driving this car, but after a certain amount of races, well, that's it. You start watching ads or paying tokens. And that adds this barrier mentally to be like, okay, I'm just going to stop playing with it. If we have the ability to play with cars in an unlimited fashion, you bet that you're going to see twice as many Vandas. Not because more people will have it, but because people will be completely free to spam it all day long. And I don't like that. I don't know. Tell me in the comments what you think about this. But as much as I dislike the fuel system, at least it adds variety. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Then we got, will we bring custom nitro effects? Answer, we're not sure at this point. We do like bringing fun new customization options for our game. However, nitro effects in particular carry a level of strategy to their colors, as it helps confirm which type of nitro are you actually using. We also want to be careful with not adding effects that are too crazy, as it might go against the look and feel of Asphalt. If we do, we'd be looking into ways that offer customization without impacting the strategy and identity of Asphalt. So basically what they're saying here is that the color of the nitro, it's basically what tells you as a player or even as a viewer, someone else that is playing, what that player is doing. Oh, he's using yellow nitro, he only pressed the 1. Oh, he's using orange nitro, he pressed nitro twice. Oh, he went into shockwave, so it's purple, you know. It helps in that sense. So what they're saying is that they don't want to change the color because otherwise it can start making things not only confusing, but simply just break out of the mold that has been in the game for this long in terms of the color coding of the nitro. Now, to that, I would say that what they could do is change the shape of the nitro, and I think that's something, and this is something that we saw in Asphalt 8 for a couple of cars that have a unique nitro effect. It follows the same colors, but the shape of the nitro trails, let's call them, it's different. So that is something that I could see them changing. The colors would be respected as per the type of nitro that they're using, but the shape would be a little bit different. So I think that could be cool. They do say that they don't want to go with things that are too crazy, because then they don't want to make it look like some other games that are absolutely bonkers. Ace Racer. Sorry, I've talked about that game. The visuals of that game is like, wow, Jesus Christ, my eyes hurt. But anyway, then we got, what other customization options are we going to bring? Answer. That is something that we're still looking into, as we've received many suggestions. We're still studying our option as a whole, and we also want to work on new ways to be able to show off your own customization within the game. And some customization, like for example, player titles, require extra work in the world of cross-platform, as each will require their own specific integration to work and adapt to each console or device's ecosystem. Now, this is interesting to me because I wonder what customization are we even talking about? Or because over here the developers are talking about, you know, the player customization, and what does that mean? Like maybe changing the font of your name, or, you know, changing your profile icon. I don't know, things like that, right? But I wonder if customization, we were like the players were actually talking about the car's customization. I don't know. That is the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear customization. How do I customize my car to have a fancy, I don't know. Well, we already have obviously the color options, decals and all of that, but yeah, they're gonna be like, you know, that there's also body kits in the game that for very, very few select cars. I wish they were to bring more of that, because it's a very interesting thing, but sadly very underused. So that is the thing that I would want them to look into, not so much about like, hey, let's add player titles, you know, but yeah, I don't know. Then we got question. We haven't seen many showroom updates of late. Can we expect any in 2026? Answer. Unfortunately, although the showroom seemed like a great concept when we first released it, we didn't realize the amount of setup and balancing the mode would require to continue to grow. So for now, we don't foresee adding new cars to the showroom list in the near future, but we are looking to address your feedback on how grindy the events can be. I mean, if you've ever played showroom, you know what they're talking about with the grind. It depends on which showroom you play. If you haven't played the showroom for Class D or C cars, you're like, you know, it's a bit grindy, but yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, but when you get to play the Class S1 or Class A and whatnot, and you're required to do 50 races, you're like, oh, I see, 50 races per stage. Oh, okay. So yeah, I do hope that they do work on that, because it's absolutely ridiculous. For the life of me, I cannot complete a showroom unless I have auto showroom play or showroom autoplay in that thing. And even then, you're like, oh god, I need to be returning to the game so often. It's annoying. So hopefully they're gonna work on making that a little bit more accessible. But when it comes to adding new things, I completely understand what they said, that this requires a lot of balancing and adjustments to make it not too easy, not too hard, which is already pretty hard. So yeah, I can see why they're like, you know what, we just don't want to look into it. Besides, there's already a lot of cars in the showroom, so I understand that for middle, what would I call them? Considerably, players that have been playing for a considerable amount of time, you probably already finished the showroom, and you're like, I mean, we need more cars over there. But for new players, there's a ton of things to do over there, so I think that is where the showroom is meant to shine. For newer players, and it's like, oh, here's a relatively easy, very, very heavy air quotations to get a bunch of cars and, you know, max start them up and all of that stuff, even if you have to repeat the showroom a bunch of times. So yeah, I think that from the lens of a newer player, the showroom is already plenty full. So yeah. Then we get question. Are we planning to introduce a new class like the R class in Asphalt 9 China? Answer. Hard to answer at the moment, as it would carry a lot of implication with the overall balance of events, particularly MP and the Gauntlet. It is something that we can consider while we review our game flow and economy this year, but we can give an answer for now. So yeah, I don't play Asphalt 9 China, but I am aware that there is a class, over class, or on top of class S, there's another class which is class R, which is like the highest class at the moment. And that, from what I understand, it involves like the super crazy cars. Think of Jesco's Bolide, Venom F5, Tartarus, things like that, right? That's what fits in Class R. Like the top of Class S straight up gets put into a different class. Over here they're saying, we don't really know if we're gonna be doing that. We will think about it, but no promises. Honestly, I think they're not gonna do it. Because, well, honestly, I don't really have much of a logic as to why they wouldn't do it. I just have this feeling that they will not do it. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it a while back. But the fact that they continue to add newer Class S cars that are faster and faster, I don't know. Doesn't seem like they're super interested in doing it. Though there's an argument to be made that as they continue to add newer and stronger cars, maybe there's more of a need for that class, but yeah, I don't know. Then we got question, any plans to bring back 1v1 in MP? Answer, not at the moment. Oh man, this hurts me because I did enjoy a lot 1v1. If you never played it, maybe I'll put a link in the top right now, where you will be able to see a 1v1 mini tournament. You know, there were a lot of these, at least on the Switch. There were some in the global version, but I really enjoyed them because you got to play against a bunch of players in a competitive 1v1 fashion, and the rewards were you know, but it was nice to spend time and do that thing. So, oh man, I wish I would bring it back. Besides, the mode already exists. Why don't you just use it? Oh man. All right, question: what color is your Bugatti? Answer: my Bugatti is invisible color. Helps with parking fines. Moving on. Question, anything you can share about the new track? Answer, well, we already kind of leaked it, but yes, the new track will be in India. You can expect that track with a lot of natural sceneries as you race through a more rural India with beautiful sights. We'll be revealing it before next season, so stay tuned. So, ooh, that's nice. I mean, yes, it was kind of leaked because I think in an interview that a developer did with some magazine or, well, not magazine, or some website or something like that, they did mention that the new track India, and it's like, oh, but nobody knew that was the case. So yeah, that's kind of how it leaked out that the new track was India. But yeah, yeah, looking forward to that. Hopefully it's gonna be a good map. Hopefully. Then we got question: when is Audi coming to the game? All right, before I read the answer, same thing. I think it was from, again, that same talk on that article or something that they mentioned that they were working with Audi or something about Audi that probably was gonna come into the game finally, and people got super excited. But here's the answer. Yes, we've seen your cries for Audi. We can't confirm anything when dealing with external IPs, intellectual properties, that's what it means. But we'll continue to work to try and acquire licenses for your favorite cars. So basically they're saying nothing. It's like, yep, nope, can't say anything. And it makes sense because if it's a work in progress license, yeah, they cannot confirm anything at the moment until it's finalized. Then we got question: are you still planning to rework or add more features to the Team Pursuit mode? Answer: we don't have current plans to touch Team Pursuit directly. However, your love for the mode has inspired us to bring the essence into other game modes, so stay tuned for more info. So, you know what? I think my opinion on Team Pursuit at first was very, not negative. I don't think I was negative about it. I was just very lukewarm about it, like, whatever. The more that I played, the more that I have enjoyed it, except that I still consider that it's very imbalanced in a lot of cases. But in general, it's a fun mode to play. So yeah, kind of interested to see what else they're thinking about doing when it comes to adding something like that to other parts of the game. So long as it's not invulnerable cups as they did recently, but you know, that was a bug, to be fair, that was a bug, but still. Question: are there plans to add more career mode chapters? Answer: the team is currently split on this. Although we do want to continue to grow the career mode, we also want to make sure it still makes sense to the journey of the player, giving a real reason to engage with the new chapter. It will be part of our overall economy and new player experience discussion, but nothing has been set in stone yet. So this is another one that I also understand. It comes basically to the same idea that I said on the showroom point, that the situation is that a lot of these things tend to be more geared towards the newer players. As a new player, what is the first thing that you start playing in Asphalt Legends? The single player career. So you start going there and you start doing races, you start getting blueprints for this or that car, blah, 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 blah. Now, to be fair, they kind of, you know, shut themselves in the foot a little bit when they added super difficult requirements for a lot of races. Like, this car is very rare. How is a player supposed to do that? But anyway, that kind of has been fixed a little bit. But yeah, the general idea, the way that I see it, is that career tends to be a lot more for beginner players, maybe intermediate players, but from a certain point onwards, there's not much reason to get back or go back over there. Since the overall loop of the game, it becomes multiplayer after you have done enough progress in career. So yeah, I do see them not focusing too much into this, but again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. If they did, it would be dope. And also to add some blueprints for some other cars as well and whatnot. I was really happy when they added the Veneno as a guaranteed car in the career. But yeah, in general, I can see that they're thinking like the path for the new player is already set. Not that it cannot be improved, but what I'm saying is that there's already a lot of work put over there. And for the newer for the more veteran players, there's very little that we can add that would get people excited to get career. Like, what, are we gonna start adding blueprints for the Venom F5? How would that affect to the new players? So yeah, I see why they're like, no, we'll think about it, but nothing concrete. Questions: Are Masteries still coming to the game? Will they still be the same as Asphalt 9 China? Answer: Yes, Masteries are still coming to Asphalt Legends, but we want to do things a bit differently, as our goal is to empower players who love collecting cars, making the experience more rewarding. Here, I cannot comment on anything because I don't know what Masteries are in Asphalt 9 China. So I have no idea what it is. From Mastery, it reminds me of what Masteries were in Asphalt 8, where there was, once you had a car, whatever, actually whenever you own the car, there were like additional races specific to that car that you could do. And once you completed all of those races specific to that car, then you would get an additional reward. That's what I think of Masteries. Or when I think of Masteries, that's what I think of. But honestly, I have no idea, so I have to wait and see what that's about. Questions: Are we rebalancing Evo parts? Can you share any upcoming cars? Answer: Yes. Yes, we will be looking to rebalance Evo cars. And we will be bringing one of addition next update. The Lamborghini Murcielago LP 640 Roadster. Looks familiar. Yeah, that's why I had that car over there. Yeah, okay, so first thing, rebalance of the Evo parts. Please, yes. We know that the Evo system, while it's an interesting one, it can make some cars, well, the cars, really ridiculously powerful. In some cases, even in a bugged sense. I believe the Homage has this weird part that gives it ridiculous ridiculous air speed. So yeah, probably the ones that are bugged will be fixed. Now, whether or not they're gonna rebalance some of the other ones that make the cars too strong, I hope that they do, but at the same time, I can see why they would be reluctant to do so, because it's like, well, we already set this up this way. Players already spent resources into it this way, and are we gonna change them? I mean, they could if they wanted to. Will they? That's what I don't know. As far as the Lamborghini Murcielago being a new Evo car, so if a new Evo car is gonna be Class B, are they gonna go again with D, B, and S? Because you know, the first batch of Evo cars we got were precisely those classes, D, B, and S. The second batch we got were the ones that were missing. So we got C, A, and another S. So now that they shared that there's gonna be a Class B, because the Murcielago is Class B, are they gonna do again D, B, S? I don't know. Would be interesting. Though, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to come too much into that because we need to see how things evolve. All right, question. Any plans to increase Gauntlet divisions above 5? Answer: No, we don't have any plans to add more divisions currently. Well, that's a very straightforward answer. Okay. Question: What does the future of Gauntlet look like? Are we planning to add new track or different variants of maps? Answer: The Gauntlet is still a new mode to the game, so for now we don't expect to be making any changes or additions to the mode, but more look into how it sits in the current game to ensure it doesn't rob too much time from other events you'd like to participate in. It will be part of our economy and flow review. So basically they're saying, no, we don't want to touch it right now. It's still pretty fresh, so no reason to tweak it right now. We still need to let it sit, see how people are enjoying it over a longer period of time, and then maybe we'll look into all of that. Now, the interesting part is how they said that maybe this thing is taking too much time from other activities. I said it when it comes to Gauntlet. I only play it for the rewards. I honestly don't play it because I find it fun. And this is true even for the Gauntlet in Asphalt 8, where it originates from. Gauntlet, I play exclusively for the rewards, not because I find it particularly fun, so I look to spend the least amount of time possible. But I don't know if that's just me or there's more people. I know that there's some people who really enjoy it because it's a very competitive game mode. But, you know, me in my skill issue type of playing is like, nah, just get whatever rewards I can get and just move on with my life. So if they were to make it somehow quicker, that would be great for me. I mean, the tracks are already very, very short. But maybe, I don't know, maybe instead of needing to do 5 races to get to your, or 5 full, challenges, each one of them with 5 races, meaning 25 races in total to get to the better rewards, maybe make it 15 instead of 25. And still have more tickets if people want to continue playing and challenge each other for the challenge, for the competition, then go ahead. That's what I would do, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm very peculiar when it comes to Gauntlet. That is not my thing, so yeah. Question: pizza or pasta? Answer: I like pasta. There you go. I tried. Yeah, for me, it would be pizza, definitely. Question: are we going to see more portals? Maybe a dedicated game mode? Answer: We were surprised at the love shared for the portals, but we won't be creating a dedicated game mode for the game. Maybe for our one-off events and celebrations, but they're a bit too sci-fi for regular events. So even then, I would still imagine they're probably not going to be doing that. And here's the thing: in a technical sense, portals don't actually teleport you from one map to another. It's not like, oh, it's gonna load, let's say, Cairo, and when you teleport, you actually get into a loaded version. The game loads the Norway map. No. The way that it works, again, technical, it's that the track is just one single map that they have to load into the memory, and that has little bits and pieces of other tracks. That's why you can only drive in certain specific small pieces of the other tracks in San Diego. So if they were to add more portals, what they would mean is that they would need to create, I don't know how many variants in the files of the game to add the portals, to have like this particular version of the map that goes to this, and for it to only be used on a time limited event. I don't see them doing that. It would require a lot of work, because they would effectively be having to create a new map altogether from pieces of all their maps. So I don't think they're going to be doing it. That is my way of seeing it. Again, this is the official answer is this. All right, this is the official answer. What I just told you is my thoughts, DBT's thoughts. Question: are we planning more MP modes for the future? Answer: we're always cooking, but it's hard to say at this point. We still have a few concepts in our drawers, so you might see a new one pop up every now and then. Yep. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, right? They have ideas, but you know, they have to workshop them and eventually see if they're going to be viable, and then work on it, and maybe someday it will release. But yeah, they're not promising anything, and it only makes sense because a question. No, that's the one I just read. Question: are there any plans for an open world mode? Answer: no, that's too big of a concept, and we don't think it fits us. We just want to get into a race. Look, I'm going to be 100% honest with you on this. I absolutely respect this. 100%. I understand that people like the idea of open world racing games, but I personally, while I do play them, I play Forza Horizon, I play the Crew Motorfest, I played whatever else, Need for Speed games also in open worlds and whatnot. While they can be fun, really what I find fun in this game is just getting into the race and doing the races. It's not so much about, oh, let me just go over here and let me explore this place and this, and not really. Besides, the physics of this game, I don't think they're very fit for an open world game, and you know. Still, either way, I respect them for being like, no, we are this type of track-oriented game, and that's what we'll remain to be. I much prefer this than for them to make the open world and for it to be just there, kind of empty, and besides, an open world, it's a ridiculous amount of work that needs to be put, unless they want to make it super generic and very barren. So there's no winning over here. In order for this game to have open world, it would have needed to be developed from the ground up to be an open world game, and only then we will, okay, it kind of makes sense. But as it stands, this game doesn't seem to fit at all, in my personal opinion, an open world. So yeah, I'm glad they're like, no, we're not mincing words. It's not happening. So yeah, appreciate that. Question: are we planning to add new chance to race against your own ghost? Answer: although it's a cool idea, we don't have any current plans. Yeah, I mean, I see why the question is there, you know, to improve your time, to see how you took this turn and it was a little bit better than how you did it in that other run and all of that. It's a really cool one, but yeah, they're saying that they're not really looking into it, so that's unfortunate. I would have liked to see that myself, especially as a big skill issue player. Yeah, this could help me a little bit. Any plans? Question: any plans to grow the VIP system further? Answer: although not directly, it will still be part of the conversation when we look into the game's economy and flow. So nothing planned at the moment with the VIP. Okay, moving on. Question: are we going to increase the car hunt drop rates? Answer: we've heard you. We have nothing direct to share at this stage, but it will be a big part of the conversation regarding economy and flow, as we don't want any event to feel as if you have to sacrifice playing other events to progress. All right, please tweak this and make it better than it was. And this is not me asking for, we need cars to be easy to get all the time, and I want to max out the cars really easy. No. I understand that grinding is part and an integral part of this game, But the way that they nerfed the car hunt drops from, what was it, like 7 or 8% to 5% for a bunch of cars. For the Veneno, I think it was one of the first one when it happened. I'm like, what? I had to grind it so much. It was absolutely ridiculous. Ever since, I just really don't care about car hunts, even though some of them are beneficial for me to do. Like recently, I also was supposed to do the car hunt for the Jag X. No, what? The Jag CX. The one in Class A, the orange one, the concept one. You know which one I'm talking about. I needed to do that hunt on my Switch, and I just didn't do it because I just don't think it's worth my time anymore. It's way too grindy, and nah, with such low chances, it's just not worth anymore. So at the very least, make it as it was, if not make it a little bit better, and probably would get people more interested. Besides, since they have added this whole thing where cars require an absolutely absurd number of blueprints, for example, the Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta, it's a 5-star Class A car, and the last star requires more blueprints than most Class S cars require to reach the last star. That's how ridiculous it is. So yeah, we need better drop rates, absolutely 100%. Question, are we planning to add more items to the club donation system? Answer, not at the moment. Our focus on clubs will be to... let me try that again. Not at the moment. Our focus on clubs will be on how to add more common goals and achievements rather than growing our donation system. I understand. People want the donation system to, and I understand that obviously, to be able to donate, for example, epics. Because, you know, there's people who have a ton of epics for rare cars simply because of how they, they managed to get a ton of them that they don't need anymore because they already have the car as gold. So it would be great to, hey, can you share to me a couple of epics for my Jesco type of thing, right? But yeah, Game Love is like, not at the moment. Yeah, nope. So, oof. Question, are we planning to change the classic packs to add new cars? Answer, also part of the economy and flow conversations, meaning no answer on this. Will be considered maybe, but yeah, who knows. Question, can we bring the Evo stat charts to cars without Evo? Answer, although we do appreciate the love shown by the community, it would carry a big impact on workloads and UI reworking. We don't believe it would carry significant value, as regular cars have static stats compared to the changing stats for Evo cars. Alright, here I am of two minds. One, I understand why they're saying this, and I agree that it's a lot of work to be displaying all of this information, not only to be displaying, but probably to chart it and all of that stuff. Because it's one thing when everything is just numbers in their code of like this car has acceleration value of this and blah 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 blah, to actually make the graphic showing the line graph of how the acceleration and blah blah, all of that stuff. I can understand it's a lot of work. So I can see, and they're saying, and besides, it's for cars that already are static. They perform the way that they perform, so what do we care? Or rather, what should people care about? Oh yeah, look at this, at the graph. Now, my number two mind over here is that I absolutely want this information to be available, because it's a lot of really cool information and insight of the car. It would be a fantastic way of looking like, oh, look, the reason why the Lamborghini Huracan Evo is so powerful on the acceleration is because the first couple of stages of the acceleration, it's very strong, although it kind of, dips down a little bit later on, or it doesn't go as high. But this other car that also has this same acceleration is not as fast in the first stages, but later on, it just keeps going way faster than the Lambo, things like that. It would provide a crazy level of insight that I would love to look at, but again, unfortunately, they don't seem interested at all on doing this, and that makes me sad, because I would absolutely love to be able to see that. Why don't you let me know in the comments what you think about that? Do you care about those type of stats and graphs, or do you think it's like, nah, not needed, who cares? And the last question, do we have any plans to make the epic wildcards or star wildcards available in other areas of the game? And the answer is, we still consider this premium, but that would be a part of our economy and flow reviews. Basically what they're saying is, no, we're not gonna make this available for you to just get it straight up for or rather, they're gonna remain to be something that it's premium only. You have to pay money to get it. It's not like we're gonna be giving them away for free or put them anywhere else. But they say that it will be part of their reviews for the economy and flow. So meaning, it could be considered, but honestly, and again, from DVT's perspective and DVT's opinion, don't get your hopes up that that's actually gonna happen, because honestly, in particular, the star parts are just so can be so powerful that yeah, they're gonna be like, nah, you want to pay money for it, that's it. So yeah, that's basically it when it comes to the Q&A. Like I said, I provided you, when I was reading I'm giving the official answer. Then when I'm just yapping randomly, that is DBT's thought, so keep that in mind. Again, I'm not saying that I know anything that they don't or that they didn't share over here. No, I'm just giving you my personal thoughts on the things that they talked about. Like I said, that's why I had the Lamborghini Murcielago here on the screen, so that, you know, because that's the new one that will be Evo. It's kind of funny because this car is already pretty alright. Doesn't have great acceleration, but in general, it's a pretty decent car, so I wonder what's going to happen with it. I think it's going to be sort of similar to the Enzo, where it can become an absolutely floaty terror, but we will see. Why this car in particular? I don't know. To be honest with you, I would much prefer for them to focus on the cars that are really bad. For them to have Evo system, say like a Lamborghini Centenario, which, you know, it's a mostly useless car. Well, no, in MP1 it does have a bit of use, but you know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, that's what I would prefer, but so far they're focusing kind of like in the mid cars and rarely on the lower ones, but yeah, we'll see how this whole thing works. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this whole thing. Do you agree or disagree with me on what I talked about on these things, on some of the points that they mentioned? Or what other question did you have that you didn't see answered and you would like some answers? Not that I can get the answer for you, but I'm just curious to hear what you guys think. But alright, that's gonna do it for this video. Again, sorry that it's a long video, but it was a lot of reading. But hey, if you wanted someone to read you a bedtime story, here I am. Alright, that's all. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye-bye!